don't watch movies too often. I really don't watch them. I'm very dissatisfied with the commercial media that's available out there, and just don't have that interest. But occasionally I do watch these movies, and mainly because my wife is interested in watching some of these movies. So the movie that I'm going to talk about today is called The Man with the Iron Fist. So I saw that movie last night, and this video is just my honest feedback on the movie. Very thorough analyzation of the movie. And pretty much, if you haven't seen the movie, you don't want me to spoil it, then just don't watch this video, or don't listen to what I have to say, because I'm gonna just speak about the entire movie in its, all together. So I'm gonna spoil some things, but I'll say what I do appreciate, and what I appreciate is the director of the movie. He's from the WuTang Clan. I don't know what his name is. I think it's RZA or something. I think it's RZA. But I don't know too much about him or the WuTang Clan. But what I do know, or what I think, is that he has a deep appreciation for the Chinese culture. And it's evident through his music, even claiming the title WuTang Clan, and just the music that he produces, and being a musical producer for what I see is I think some of the Tony Jaa's Bak movies and the Protector movie. He was a producer that helped make the music for the soundtrack. I think he puts a lot of effort into trying to bring the Asian culture into America, trying to bridge the gap that really has been hard to do. Even till now, there's still like a huge gap between East and West, and I think that he's putting a lot of effort to bring some of that culture into America. And this movie, being a director in it, and being one of the starring roles in the movie, and having such a huge cast in the movie that's Asian American, they're actually speaking English throughout the whole movie, with Chinese subtitles, which is a first that I've seen, because usually it's the other way around. Usually they would import the movies from China, and they're speaking Chinese, and then they have English subtitles. So meaning, for the most part, Hollywood is not interested in funding any type of Asian American films. And this is one of the films that was directed by this RZA guy, this Wu-Tang guy, that actually was promoting this Asian culture and things like that, having a whole Asian American cast and everything. So I would give a thumbs up to that, in regards to that, his efforts, and I see that he's trying to support the Asian community, or the Chinese American community, and that he has appreciation for the Chinese culture, even though he's black or African American and whatnot. And you don't find that quite often, people that have this type of appreciation. So I say that's a positive part. As far as the movie is concerned, the way that I feel, I guess, that I start to realize, is that I just have a lot of expectations in a lot of things that I'm exposed to. When it comes to entertainment, media, when it comes to movies, when it comes to music, when it comes to books, I'm very selective in what I choose to expose myself to, and what I would give my time to, and what I would consider as value, or consider as something worth my time. And this movie, I was just very dissatisfied with it. But it's just not this movie, it's just almost everything out there. I'm very dissatisfied with the way the society and its media and its entertainment. I'm dissatisfied with a lot of everything. I don't find it entertaining. I find that it's wasting my time. and I could do much better things with my time. I'd rather make my own videos, work on my own creativities. I'd rather read some books that I enjoy than to watch these horrible movies. I see that this movie is just, as in many movies, it's just filled with a lot of computer graphics, a lot of just nothing real. Everything's just all fake and false, and it's like trying to step into a fantasy world, and people flying around and all these crazy weapons that aren't really anything that's practical. It's just like living in a dream world, and people's bodies turning into stones, and all sorts of gruesomeness, violence, and unrealistic fights, very extremely unrealistic fight scenes, and just gathering up a bunch of famous actors and actresses just so then they could just get their audience or fans to support so they can make money. It's gathering up a bunch of famous people, just displaying a horrible movie that really has no meaning behind it, and nonsense. Nonsense, violence, unrealistic choreographed scenes of fight scenes. The whole movie was just garbage to me. And it just goes to show, there's a fight scene between like Lucy Liu and Kung Lee, and I guess they didn't want to have Kung Lee lose to Lucy Liu, so they just decided to have Kung Lee die and then Lucy Liu die at the same time, so they just kind of killed each other off. And then they had a fight scene with the director, like the RZA guy, the WuTang guy, against the wrestler guy that I think his name's Batiste or something like that. I don't know anything about this dude, but just people were telling me, my father was telling me about him. But I guess he's in WrestleMania or whatever. It's just a big dude, big wrestler guy, strutting around, showing off his muscles, and then they're like fighting at the end. And it just shows how really it's not like a real fight, like how it would really occur, but they're just showing how, like, game of politics. I'm the director, and I'm gonna win the fight because I'm the director, and that's what ended up happening. The director wins the fight, and it's just more, just a fantasy fight. Just kind of, the guy's using steel arms, and the wrestler guy's body's turning to steel too, and so that goes down, and you see that everything is just so fake, everything, that it doesn't appeal to me at all. The reality of it, like real martial arts films, or something that Bruce really tried to put out there as something real, is that I really felt that when he made his fight scenes, it's almost like he would choreograph a fight as if that's how it would really happen if they really did fight. It's almost like he would spar. It's almost like he would spar with these people, and they would determine who would actually win the fight and how hard it would actually be, and they would choreograph that and put it into film and clean it up with sound technique to show like something very realistic. So meaning, like when he was choreographed with Chuck Norris, it's almost like they would spar and see how hard it would really be for someone to come on top, and then the person that does come on top, the person that would, that wouldn't really be matching up to the skill level, would submit his ego, surrender his ego, and accept that, hey, in a real fight I would lose, so let's just go ahead and make this movie and just make it look real, and to show how the fight would have occurred. And I feel that that's something that's real. It's not like, oh, this person has more fame, or Chuck Norris has more fame than Bruce, so let's just let him win. It's not like that, or when Bruce would fight like a bunch of people all at once, he would make sure that he would choose a bunch of scrawny people that didn't know any martial arts, and just kind of show how if you do know martial arts, you could breeze through a bunch of these scrawny people no problem. You could like take down like 10 of them easy. Or if you have a weapon, you could take down like 30 of them easy. But when he would fight against other martial artists that are highly trained, he would show how difficult it is and how strategic and tactical that you would have to fight. And he shows such realism in his films, but nowadays it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo garbage. It's like they try to have like these big name people like Kung Lee, who is like an actual like competition fighter who's good at what he does. They try to have him be in the movie, but he just looked so ungraceful and uninspiring, and just not charismatic, not like a martial artist at all. Just not moving like a martial artist, not giving out the energy of a martial artist, and just doing these silly stunts and these kicks and these flying like moves. Anybody could do that. You don't need to be a competition fighter to do the stuff that he did on film. So just because he is a competition fighter, it didn't make the film any more worthwhile, because anybody could have done that fake stuff. And there's a certain energy and charisma and just some type of graceful, fluid movements with the martial artist, a real martial artist, that was in a major lack throughout the entire film. There was not even one real martial artist in the entire film at all. They're just a bunch of people who have gained a lot of fame through the movies that they've made in the past, and they just gather them all up together to just get their audience, their friends, their fans to come to watch the movie to make money. But the movie was pointless, senseless, violence with no meaning, and horrible choreography, no talent. And when they spend millions of dollars to make movies like this, I don't understand how they could, where this entertainment industry is actually going. Like, it's just so unentertaining to me that it saddens me to see how horrible the quality of these movies that are being produced, and they're letting the public see these movies. It's so dissatisfying that I just want to turn everything off. That's how it makes me feel. Like, I just want to turn everything off. And there's nothing real out there anymore. And I mean, movies that I did love, like, and I'm not just, Bruce Lee's movies are okay, but like movies like Fearless from Jet Li, that's a real amazing movie, one of my favorites. But this movie, The Man with the Iron Fist, I guess my standards are just really, I have high expectations for a lot of things in my life. And my wife, she said she enjoyed the movie, she thought it was entertaining, and I guess that's who they make the movies for nowadays. It's like pointless, meaningless, senseless violence, and no skill, no talent. Just a bunch of computer animation. Just a bunch of people in the movie trying to make money. And everything's so fake. Everything's all in politics. It's just these actors, these actresses, they're not holding up to any values. They're just like, okay, you pay me money, then I'll do what you want me to do. You want me to lose in a fight? I'll lose in a fight. You want me to do this? I'll do that. And like Russell Crowe was in the movie too, and it was just disgusting seeing him. I just lost a lot of respect for him for even being in that movie, because when he played the role of Gladiator, I think he did such a great job with that, of portraying like the character and the way of a true warrior. But then when he played in this movie, he just completely let himself go, just very fat and out of shape, just gained like a lot of weight, getting old and ugly, and he's just like a pervert in the whole movie, just like banging a bunch of prostitutes, being a big drunk. And it's like, how much money did they pay him to even be in the movie? And it's like, why would you even take a role like that where you destroy your entire character or whatever, just the image that you've established for yourself? Is it really worth that money? And so I'm just thoroughly disappointed with everything in there. I guess it just takes a lot to make me satisfied with any type of movie. I guess people might consider me a little too serious about this stuff, but I mean, this talking about like an hour and a half of your life that you could have done, used in, for so much better. I'd rather use that hour and a half to better myself and discover and express the creativities that I have within. And that's why I put a lot of effort into making videos, because I'd rather much do that than to watch these silly movies that, in a way, it could just further your ignorance more than anything. And that's my honest feedback in the movie. I don't recommend it at all. I think it's a complete waste of time. And yeah, I mean, I see all these videos that I'm talking trash about the combat sports, clearly talking trash about the cage fight, I'm talking trash about the boxing, I'm talking trash about all this stuff, and now I'm talking trash about some movies. So what am I satisfied with? And a lot of people could say that I'm just such a huge critic, or I'm just an asshole for having these thoughts, but it's just, that's the way I am and how I feel about things. And I know it's not easy to make a movie or whatnot, but really, it's not happy with any of this stuff. So what I do is I just don't support it. I mean, I don't pay money to watch this stuff. I just don't watch it. I don't pay any attention to it. I just do my thing, but it just so happens that my wife wants to watch something like this, and I just get dragged into it. And then now I've unfortunately had the experience of watching a movie that I just clearly despise of and don't enjoy. And then I guess that's why I'm making this video, to forewarn people to not waste their time either. I guess that's something that I could contribute, is to help people not make the same mistakes that I make if they could prevent it themselves. So basically, use your time and your money more wisely by selecting the movie that's gonna help benefit you more than this garbage.